Up, y'all? This is Rayon Lawrence, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Catherine Nunez, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director and the Council on the IE Network.
Rock stars. There's literally nothing like those wild parties. All I did was drink and party and go to rock concerts. So I got VIP access to a certain very hot rock star's room.
This was getting a little intense for my liking.
What's your problem?
Okay.
Look, bitch, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but you're no better than the rest of us.
Hey, come on, you gotta go. I'll call you.
Hey, what would you say if I were to tell you that rock stars like Terry would pay for your attention and you would be a multi-millionaire because of it?
Chastity, Maria, Sydney, Mackenzie, and Lucy.
Well, hello, ladies. I'm Bella. I have a question for everyone. Why do you think rich men cheat?
Control, attention, power.
Here, you will learn how to gain ownership of all. Are you ready to take that step?
Tonight, we're diving deep into the shifting ground of Hollywood. Netflix has thrown its hat in the ring officially, eyeing a massive deal to acquire Warner Brothers, right under the noses of Paramount. A power play that can rewrite the future of streaming, studios, and storytelling as we know it. Then we pivot on to something that's got the internet on fire. The teaser trailer to the Michael Jackson biopic, simply titled Michael. Some are calling it a powerful resurrection of the King of Pop. Others say it's a glossy remix of a complicated legacy. From billion-dollar mergers to moonwalking magic, tonight's show is about power. Who has it, who's fighting for it, and how it shapes the stories we see on screen. Real Talk, coming at you next.
You tune in to Real Talk. Film. Facts. And the realness behind the reels. It's the director, Wes Clark. Lights. Camera. Conversation, let's go. We keep it real, that's real talk. Breaking down the game, no filter, just talk. From the classes to the blockbusters. Trust us, you can love us, you can hate us, but don't forget about us. We keep it real, that's real talk. Breaking down the game, no filter, just talk. From the classes to the blockbusters. Trust us, you can love us, you can hate us, but don't forget about us.
Hey, what's up? It's Logan Browning, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director. Hi, this is Alana De La Garza, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director.
Hi, I'm Diane Franklin from Dead or Off Dead and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. You're listening to Real Talk with the Director.
Hey, I'm Stormy Maya, and you are listening to Real Talk with the Director.
Hi, this is Monique Free. You are watching Real Talk with the Director.
I'm speaking to your team. Orange is the new black, and I'm here with Real Talk.
Yo, what up? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director.
Hey, I'm Issa Rae. You're watching Real Talk with the Director on Downhouse Radio.
We keep it real.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Nothing more, nothing less. What's going on? Welcome back to Real Talk with the Director and the Jedi Council. I'm the Director. We'll be with you for the next 90 minutes or so. And Real Talk is brought to you each and every time by the IE Network on YouTube /IE Network.tv. No, YouTube /IE Network TV. My bad. And Facebook, aka Meta, the social network. And we also broadcast on Instagram right now, currently broadcasting on the IE Network Instagram. So if you are on Instagram or you plan to head to Instagram, and you may not see the show on my personal profile on Instagram, go on over to the IE Network and you should see it. Um, that's what's up, man. Yo, welcome back. Another day, another Monday. Shout out to, let's see what's going on in the news. Shout out to the American Black Film Festival. They were doing their pop-up tour, and they were they've done like their pop-up tour consists of like four major cities, I think, maybe five. I know it's LA, New York, Atlanta, and maybe Texas. I'm not sure what, or Chicago. I'm not sure where the other pop-up is. They may go to Detroit at this point, as much as Detroit been pushing out a lot of independent films and stuff like that. I could see them definitely heading for Detroit. But anyhow, they came through to Atlanta over the weekend. We went out there and I checked some things out and met some good people and like-minded individuals like myself. Kicked it for a little while with the co-founder of the ABFF and Miss Friday, and had a good time out there. So shout out to them for doing that. I think it's cool. They still do their main one in Miami, South Beach. Excuse me. Which is, I recommend anybody go to and experience. It's very cool out there. Well, it's not very cool. It's very hot in South Beach, but it's a nice experience. If you've never been to the American Black Film Festival in South Beach, Florida, Miami, yeah, you might want to do that at least once. I used to go faithfully all the time. I would get press passes. I've never went as a participant. I've never been in the film festival. I may have only submitted one movie way back in the day, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't get in, and I know why, because this, in hindsight, my film wasn't ready. I'm glad it didn't get in. It wasn't ready to be in at that point. I was very early in my filmmaking days, and now I might just submit something for next year. But yeah, so that was cool. Shout out to my little grandbaby. It's her birthday. Shout out to little Nova. She is 3. And such a sweetie pie. And shout out to her, man. She's doing her thing. She's coming along nicely. Shout out to my son. Congratulations to him for having a 3-year-old. So also, before we go into the weekend recap, so we would talk, obviously today we're going to break down some stuff with the Warner Brothers. That's the main kind of topic today, the Warner Brothers Discovery sale, or hot garage sale, whatever you want to call it. As we know, we had a show a couple of weeks ago about the Warner Brothers being acquired by Paramount, which is still a possibility. But Paramount has made several offers to Warner Brothers that they ultimately rejected. Now Netflix has really thrown their hat in the ring, and they are pushing hard for this, to acquire Warner Brothers, but not what you may think. We'll talk a little deeper about that later on. Also, the Michael Jackson biopic teaser has dropped, and it's I think it broke a record of the most watched in a little amount of time. Millions and millions of views over 24 hours. And it feels like for the majority, everybody's excited about it. I think everyone's excited about it. Some people are less excited only because they, as you know, people are going to have something to complain about. So they have something to complain about. And this is the way it is. You can't please everybody, right? there's also some. There's always been a little bit of, I don't even want to use the word controversy that's been surrounding the movie. The movie had went through reshoots, as we know, and we'll get more into detail with it. A little bit of controversy. Also, Michael Jackson's daughter has spoke out on her feeling on the whole situation. You got some fans that doesn't like Michael Jackson's doesn't like the way he looks, the gentleman, his nephew who's playing him. And then there's a whole bunch of other fun things to talk about and laugh about with that whole situation. But the bottom line is an official motion picture directed by an official motion picture director, Antoine Fuqua. And I just read and got word the film is there is plans for the film to be a two-part film, which makes sense, and they're starting to do that and push that a little more because today's audience don't really resonate with longer films. So what a lot of people have been doing, a lot of studios have been breaking the films up, and especially when you have a vast story to tell, sometimes you have to do it. And I mean, at the end of the day, if everyone loves the first part of it, they're gonna go see the second part. So you probably make more money at the end of the day. Um, so if it's a two-parter, which I believe it needs to be to cover the vast career and life of Michael Jackson, I'm here for it either way. I'd have been here for it if it was a 4-hour movie. It don't matter to me. But the average audience, especially today, is not sitting in a 3-hour, 3.5 hour movie. And I believe you need that kind of time to properly document Michael Jackson's illustrious career and life. So that's cool. Like I said, we'll dig more into that. And we'll get into some other stuff that's going on. And a weekend recap brought to you by BoxOfficeMojo.com for the weekend of November 7th to the 9th. Number 5, who made 3.9 million over the weekend, is what's that? Nuremberg. I don't even know this movie. That made 3.9 million. Sarah's Oil made 3.4 million. That's number 4. Number 3 on the list is Black Phone 2. Made another 5.2 million, bringing the total gross of that worldwide to 120 million plus. Okay, horror film. That's pretty good. Number 2. That was number 3. Number 2 is Regretting You. 6.7 million, bringing the worldwide total to 70 million plus 70.5 million. And coming in at number 1, Predator Badlands made 40 million over the weekend, opening weekend. This is the opening weekend. It just opened on November 7th. It made 40 million domestically, almost 40 million internationally. So it's right below 80 million for the first weekend. A very good start for the film. I'll get into that in a little bit as well. I did see the film. Well, I saw most of the film. I actually walked out of the film. I had a couple of good reasons. One, that I didn't really like it, and 2 was another reason. I'll get into that. But hey, people are liking it, so hey, to each his own. Like I just said earlier, you can't please everybody. There you go. It definitely didn't please me. I know a lot of people that did like it. Hey man, that's cool. Not my cup of tea for Predator films, but it is what it is. And yeah, man. So we'll get into that stuff tonight and get into. We have a special guest. I'll still call him special guest. He's like the fourth Jedi right now. Anyway, he comes on, and of course he's always welcome. A friend of the show, our boy Tony Perez will be joining us, and yeah, man, we'll get back and we'll get on it. So let's get to it. Of course, I brought my Jedi Council with me. Kev will be joining us shortly. And of course, I have the man, the myth, the legend. Hopefully, you feel better, brother. Ralph, you're in the building.
Hello, how are you doing tonight?
Very good, man. You feeling a little better, man? You still under the
I
weather?
I was actually feeling I was a little under the weather the last show, but my bigger issue was that my computer actually broke. So
Oh,
I,
damn.
I I had to patch something together. Right now, I have my computer going through my television, and
Wow.
I did not realize that when you had TV going to the television, first of all, the sound comes out through the TV. Even though I had headphones on, I couldn't figure it out. But then I figured out that there's a way to switch it from TV to headphones.
Oh, wow.
Now you hear me so clearly because
Dang.
I'm on headphones.
So you had to MacGyver that shit, huh?
It was MacGyvered.
You had to MacGyver. Well, we appreciate your dedication, sir, and I'm sure our audience appreciates your dedication coming on and serving the people, man. That's what's up. And of course, Kev will be joining us. But also, again, as I just mentioned, one of our friends of the show, frequent flyer, if you will, our boy Tony Perez is in the building. What's up, Tony?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. How's it all over there on the West Coast?
I actually have to pull over because I just left from watching Predator for the third time.
Cool.
So,
Third time. Whoa.
Okay, there you go. So I guess
you
we
gotta
don't have
like Predator.
I don't like it, man. Well, we might as well get into that before we get into the rest of the stuff. Honestly, bro, I sat there and watched. Okay, like I mentioned at the top of the show, the American Black Film Festival was in town. I was really at the theater for that. However, I had about 3 hours to kill. So I was like, hey, let me go watch Predator. I went to the first workshop, which is an excellent workshop that was led by Randall Dotton, a professor at NYU, I believe it is, or the New York Film Academy at one point. It was called The Art of Emotional Writing. Excellent workshop. Went to that. Had a break because I was going to go to the premiere of Power Force. You get to watch it with the cast and talk to them and blah blah blah. I had about 3 hours to kill. I'm a Stubbs A-list member. No big deal. Hey, let me just pop in and say, let me go watch Predator. Check that out. Saw it. I was in the Dolby, in the Dolby theater, and the nice surround sound and all that. All right, cool. This is cool. So it came on, and I was like, okay. And it went. I got about halfway through the second act, and I kind of it seemed a little predictable. And on top of that, I just wasn't really feeling it, man. I wasn't feeling it, and I just said, you know what? I still had about an hour and a half left to kill. I look at my watch and I'm like, yeah, I'll go get some popcorn and maybe I'm leaving. So I walked out. I didn't really feel that I needed to stay to the end because I kind of predicted what I thought was going to happen. It felt predictable to me, and then on top of that, I just didn't. It wasn't resonating with me, man. Not from the past Predator movies that I saw, and I felt that it was PG-13. I wasn't sure when I was sitting in there. I was like, is this movie PG-13?
Yeah, it
is there
is.
a Predator movie that's PG-13? I was like, what? All right, then I that wasn't the reason why I walked out, but mainly because don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen the movie, but there's just elements in the movie that I felt I really don't care to resonate with me with a Predator. I don't need a coming of age Predator movie. I don't need that. I want to see. I personally, I can only speak for myself. I go to Predator movies to see action. It had a lot of action that it had. I like to see blood. I like to see violence. It had
plenty
violence.
of blood.
Yeah,
Not
alien
red
blood.
blood, but there was plenty
Yeah,
of blood.
well, exactly. No, but that's the cheat code. You see, they that's how they got their PG-13 rating, and I'm sure they wanted that rating so they can draw in more people. Hey, I get why it's PG-13. I just don't agree with why it's PG-13. And the fact that there are no real humans in the film doesn't feel like a Predator film to me like that. And I was just like, well, and that's where the R ratings really come from, because if humans shed blood and die and stuff like that, you're going to get an R rating. You're not going to get that PG-13 rating, especially with the brutal way that predators kill their prey, right? So
Okay.
I wasn't feeling that,
I'm gonna wait.
I didn't like the whole sidekick thing. I don't think Predator needs a sidekick.
It wasn't a sidekick.
That was a side. They were both sidekicks.
It was not a sidekick.
That was a sidekick. And
All
then
right, so let me know when I can chime in, so I can
I haven't
counter
seen it,
everything.
so I haven't seen it yet, so I'm not going to say nothing about it. What I will say this is that, you know, I can understand Wes to a degree, because me, when the first Predator came out, I really didn't like it. I was like, this is stupid. But however, after continuously seeing it over the years, I came to appreciate it. So maybe this would be the same thing right now. You're like, I don't like it, but maybe if you sat down and looked back and looked at it again, maybe you say, okay, I see why they did it this way. Why? Maybe, and then maybe say, you know what? Maybe it's not as bad as what I thought. Because that's how I felt about Predator. I felt like I don't love it. I don't like love it, adore it, but I like it a lot.
Now,
to
that, right before you speak, Tony, because I'm gonna let you rock. To your point, Ralph, I mean, I actually did love Predator, the first movie. To me, there is no better Predator movie. That's just my opinion. I loved it. I just loved the testosterone, crazy one-liners, you know, corny one-liners, stick around, you know, so I just loved that back, especially from back then. And I loved it. I loved the violence in it, the blood, you know, splatter and stuff like that. It was just, to me, what I loved about it is because I had no idea when I saw Predator in the movie years ago. I had no idea what type of film. I never saw a trailer for it. I just went to see it, and I had no idea what I was in for. And the fact that it's like I'm looking at, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is like Commando. This is like another, you know, war type movie, and it just took such a turn. I fell in love with it, you know. So that's what I liked about that. And then the last thing I'll say, because I want Tony to chime in. In fairness, I will probably, because it didn't hold me enough to say that I'm definitely gonna go watch it again. But like I said, I'm a Stubbs A-list member, so shout out to Stubbs A-list AMC. I can go whatever I want, so it doesn't really matter. I could be seeing another movie and say, I'll go give Predator another chance. I was not there to see Predator. That's in fairness. I was there for the American Black Film Festival, but I did have 3 hours to kill, and I did have the interest in seeing Predator. So with that being said, like I said, it didn't hold my interest. I didn't even see the end, and I could probably tell you how it ended because I just predicted it. I was just like, oh, okay. So anyway, go ahead.
Before Tony chime in, I want to say this. Right, my first job, I worked in a movie theater, right? And I remember seeing there was 2 trailers that came out that when they came out, people laughed at. One of them was Predator, and the other one was RoboCop. Right now, the theater that I worked in before it became ASC, when it was Lowe's, they didn't play the Predator. They played the trailer, but my particular theater didn't play the actual movie. So I saw the movie somewhere else, and I thought it was okay. But I remember they kept playing the trailer for RoboCop, and people kept laughing and laughing. They was like, "This is gonna be the dumbest movie ever made," until they showed it at a special screening that Saturday night. And I walked in, the movie was ending, and all you heard was a roar of applause from that theater. It was a total reversal of what the trailer showed compared to what you saw. And after that, every weekend, RoboCop was constantly sold out, constantly.
With that, Ralph, I'll tell you what. I saw the film twice. The first time and this time in IMAX because it was shot for IMAX. I saw it the second time in a regular theater.
Mm-hmm.
But all three times, the audience clapped, the audience cheered, the audience hooted the movie at the end when it was over and clapped. And this last one, it was old people because it was, Twilight, race or whatever. So it was a lot of old people and they were clapping. I mean, here's the thing. It's kind of a combo of samurai and Native American lore. In which, in particular, especially in warrior cultures, you get the runt that's usually, they don't keep him or whatever.
Right.
This predator just happens to be the runt. And he's also, I didn't realize he was deformed, which they bring up periodically throughout the film. So I was like, oh, but this guy, he had a little spunk to him. But the greatest part about this predator, just like Prey, did you watch Prey?
Yeah, of course. One of the better movies in the series to me.
It's the same director. He had to go to the movie without his weapons. He had one, and then he lost it. But he had to go, and including one of his last two battles, without any of his weapons. He had to grab stuff that he found in his planet that is meant to make you the hunted, where everything wants to kill you.
Right,
so
exactly.
I thought that was very creative. I thought it was very interesting how he thought he could just macho his way through the whole movie, and he needed to listen, we'll call her the sidekick or not, to the tool, and I would say, no, bad idea, and then eventually he would understand why. But I thought since it didn't have humans, but predators hunted everything in the universe besides humans. Humans are just part of the entire universe of everything that they hunt.
No, I agree. But what I said was, that's why it didn't resonate with me, because that's all good and all of that. But I don't need to. I
see them in their natural state, and you see, the reason I don't like predators is that they cheat. You can't fight them, mano a mano. They always got something. Even if they lose, they're gonna kill you. It's like Trump. If something happens, he's gonna blow up everybody.
Kill humans. They're gonna kill humans most of the time. But I'm just saying, like I said, I felt
but they always cheat.
Some
and
things
this time, this guy didn't have anything to cheat with.
I kind of agree with AJ Perez, because it's not really a fair fight.
Never a fair fight.
It's not a fair
fight.
But
to me, that's what raises the stakes. That it's not a fair fight, and it raises the stakes for the
the tables were turned because now he can't fight with his weapons.
But in this film, the protagonist is basically the predator, and he is the main character of the film. And like I said, for me, I get what you're saying about the whole.
But also, you get an explanation.
To me, that's what made the original Predator great. The fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is a regular person, he was a big regular person, but
let's be real. He wasn't a regular person.
He got the Predator lore.
But he was a human. Okay, so
but you get who they are, where they come from, what their nature is like. All this stuff finally explained to you. The great thing is this movie's done so well with audiences and critics that Arnold wants to be. It's already in talks to be in the sequel.
That's cool.
And bring Dutch back
and reprise his role of Dutch, right? I know.
Yeah.
But once again, it just did. I don't know, man. I
gotta watch
the
it,
same
dude.
way.
You were watching the Black Film Festival. I love the Black Film Festival, but I think you were too caught up in that to watch just
no. I had a lot
fun,
of time.
Take your brain out movie.
No. I definitely had enough time to watch it. And I mean, if you're midway through the second act and you haven't caught my attention, to me, you haven't done your job. But the bottom line is, like I said, there'll be a time it'll be a movie day for me, and I'll say, yeah, I'll go watch it again. But what I wanted to really say about it in general is, for me, when it comes to this story, when I was looking at it, I was like, okay, I was ready. And I mean, come on, I know you enjoyed it a lot, obviously, Tony, but you're a writer. Don't tell me you did not predict what was going to happen. Come on. It was
I
very predictable
I
on the writing side.
knew what was going to happen. I was curious to see how they were going to do it.
How they were going to
Like
do it.
for
Okay.
me, I like
Yeah.
to read the end of a book. So that way
Right.
I know what happens. And then I like to see how they
That's
get there.
funny. That's funny.
I mean, that's what I do. I
right.
read the end, I read the last chapter, and then I
Uh-huh.
read the rest so I can see how they got there.
Hmm.
So for me, yeah, I knew where they were going, how they were going to do it. There was going to be revenge and all this other crap. But I wanted to see how they're going to get there. And again,
I mean, it
this is like
seemed
a huge
they
reboot for like a whole new audience too.
Well, but see, this is what I'm saying. You almost like I said, from a business side of things, it was the right thing. They did what they did. Me personally, it just wasn't resonating with me. I wasn't interested. I really wasn't interested in the Predator's story. It's a story that's been told 100 million times over anyway. Yeah, the
No,
run.
see, no, it
Yeah.
had. I kind of
It's
see where
never been
Asia go
told.
with
I
it.
mean, you've let people
Right.
talk about it, but they never explained it and showed you their planet.
I'm not saying it's been told in the Predator world, but I'm just saying the story of it all.
But I kind of see where AJ's come from, because I'm looking at this version of Predator where you see how he became the Predator. Really, is this not the same thing with Prometheus, where we know about the xenomorph, but where did it come
Yeah,
from? How did it come?
exactly.
You
Thank
started
you.
got in the beginning of how the xenomorph became this killer that it was. So it's kind of the same thing, really.
Yeah, but like I said, it's not like this Predator is the Predator from the first movie or something like it.
Oh, that one died. That one died a long time ago. They
I know
already,
it died.
I think he
Yeah,
died
that
in
one
Predator
died.
2.
It's
2 or
not
3,
like
he
it's
was
a
already dead.
prequel of it. And like I said,
Yeah.
man, you cannot please everybody, and they definitely wasn't pleasing me, because I did the same thing, and I'm bringing Kevin. I did the same thing with Ragnarok. Everyone loved Ragnarok, right? Everyone loved Ragnarok, and I liked it, but I was not so high on Ragnarok that everybody was. One thing is, not everything needs to have humor in it all the time. And that's another thing that turned me off right from the beginning with this movie. You got the Predator cracking jokes. I'm like, really? Predators cracking
Wait, you
jokes?
just talked about
Yeah.
the jokes from like the first one.
Yeah,
No,
You just
listen
talked
to me.
about the
Listen to
first
me.
one having jokes
Listen
and
to me.
stuff. Corny
Here's
jokes.
the difference. Like I said, no Predators crack jokes in the first one. That's for sure. So I was just like, all right, cool. And then, like I said, the whole sidekick thing, I didn't think that was needed. I would have rather seen him go through his journey alone. He doesn't have
I
to
think you need to
have
get past. I think you
assistance.
missed a huge
No,
part by
it
not
ain't getting
watching.
past shit. When did a
You,
predator ever have a sidekick? Never. The only
he
time a
never had a
predator,
sidekick. Oh my
the,
God!
a
Stop yelling,
predator,
dude.
the only time a
Dude, stop
predator,
yelling.
the
Stop
only
yelling.
time, don't tell me
All right,
nothing. Don't tell me nothing.
wait. Okay,
First of all,
wait a second.
the only time a predator had a sidekick for the
Did you see the
first
movie,
time.
Kev?
Don't tell me that either, because
Did you
Superman
see
was
the
trash.
movie?
I didn't
All
have to
right,
see
then
the
you can't
movie.
talk. You
First
can't
of
talk.
all,
You can't talk. You can't talk.
Okay.
first of
All right,
all,
wait.
I can say what the fuck I want to say. That's
All right.
first and foremost. Because I'm in the
Relax.
hospital.
All right,
I'm in the
relax.
hospital with COVID. I'm in the hospital with COVID.
Oh, I
So
hope you
that's why
recover.
I haven't been
Okay.
to the movies, because I'm in the hospital with COVID. Number two, I don't have just
Then
like
you can't talk about
Superman.
the movie.
Just I can't talk about the movie, and
I
here's
was
why.
telling them. I was telling about the
Just
movie.
like the same reason I told you about Superman. I know trash when I see it. The director that made Predator, that made Prey, when he made Prey, he made a dope ass movie. He turned around and made this trash. The first mistake that he made was he took the humans out of it. That's the first mistake. Every Predator movie has humans involved. Now, something else that I
Oh
was
my
saying.
God, are you kidding me? All right,
Am I kidding you? And tell me where am I lying? Where am I
all right.
lying?
They all got humans involved. I didn't li- I didn't
There's
weigh
nowhere
that
written
much
that says you
against
got to
it,
have a
but
human in the movie.
no, you don't have to. But it's just saying that, like I said before, my point of the humans being present is, to me, it ups the stakes. The stakes are always higher if you have a human
That
in a
part.
movie, a human in a movie with an alien or something like that that is more powerful than it, right? That ups the stakes because
He was in a
at that
planet where
point,
everybody else was more powerful than he was.
no, I get that. I
But
get that.
And all the
he's a
humans always
predator.
have sidekicks, and they
That's
have a
no,
bunch
but
of
see,
people.
no, AJ,
Right.
here's the point. Here's the point you're missing out on that. And that's the point. The whole point of a predator being a predator is going up against the thing that they have no chance of beating. And then they
Yeah.
go in and they conquer, divide, win, and go home. And then what happens when they die? The other predators give you, the victor, the weapon that you killed them with.
Right. So
You're
That's the
telling me
whole
so you
point.
didn't see the movie, and you
this
obviously
is
don't know
from a
what they do in this
I
one. So
don't,
you got to see the movie.
AJ.
wait. This. Let me call for quiet for a second. This is a a big point that's missing in that I think everybody's missing when I say I didn't like the movie. And once like I said, hey, it's just literally my opinion. Why I did not. It didn't
And you
resonate with
can
me.
great
It
opinion because
didn't.
you saw it.
Yeah, it didn't resonate with me. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I personally don't need to see a predator. Me seeing a predator, and I know why they did it. They wanted to make the story, more family friendly, if you will, or whatever the case may be. He's rejected by his clan, as we know, just like you said, the whole lore of that, the runt being the quote unquote considered the weakest. He has to prove himself. Got it. Uh, I don't think he needed the sidekicks, and I call them sidekicks because that's what they were. But I understand that they all served a purpose in the film because that's just what it is. And I'm like I said, Prey had me caught from the beginning, so I was very. I guess maybe I was also a little disappointed that for me, this movie did not catch me from the beginning. I tell you, I was midway through the second act, and I was just like, okay. And then I just, then I made a conscious decision to go ahead. Now, granted, I will say this in fairness to whatever. Had there not been something else going on, I probably would have sat there and watched it to the end. But I probably still wouldn't have liked it because I wasn't feeling it. And it's okay. That's okay that I wasn't feeling it. It is what
And,
it is.
and
A,
and
a
it's
lot of
and
people
it's
liked it, and that's good for them. I have no
and
problem.
exactly, not taking nothing away from nobody else's movie experience, AJ. But I don't need to sit through. There's certain movies I don't. I've seen enough movies in my lifetime. I've seen more movies in my lifetime than most people have in a quarter of their lifetime. So so when it comes to certain movies, I know what I'm looking at before I see it. So miss me with you having seen. That's the second time you tried to pull that crap with me. I checked you on it the first time, and I'm gonna check you on it again publicly. Don't do that with
Uh,
me. I'm not the one for it. But anyway,
so
going back to what I was saying, this movie, just like Superman, which I did see, by the way, and confirm, and I saw it twice to confirm everything that I said about it. The same thing is going to happen with this movie when it comes to digital. I'm going to buy it. Why? Because I own the whole Alien franchise with aliens and without aliens on digital and on DVD.
Like I just told
And no, I'm not finished. I'm
Wes.
not done. I'm not done. I'm not done. Don't cut me off. So when I tell you I don't need to see a movie, oh, you got hard side or you want to. You love the movie. Yay, I'm not taking that from you. That's your movie experience. If I was in,
You know,
if
the
I didn't
movie
get,
experience
if,
is
if
watching it on
I
the big
get,
screen.
yeah, motherfucker, I do know what the movie experience is. And the
Well,
only
I think
reason why I didn't see it on the screen is because right now I'm in the isolation room with COVID. If I
I
was
hope you
at the
pull out of
re
it really
if I
fast,
was
by the
if
way.
I was at the if I was at the rehab, my daughter already had got tickets for us to come see it. But on
right.
Friday I came here.
That's COVID.
But that's neither here nor there. Talking to Wes on the phone about the movie, and then me hearing the reviews about the
But
movie and about some of the characters that were movie, like the monkey sidekick. That's not a Predator movie to me. That's
right.
trash.
So what
And
I
on,
so here's the
go
deal.
ahead,
And
Wes.
When
was it
I
a monkey
explain,
sidekick? And the
well, I mean
Rotten Tomatoes
he was a
reviews are out
monkey.
of this world.
I mean, he was a monkey type character, and I know, I predicted. I'm not gonna say what I predicted because I don't want to ruin anything for anybody. But um, when I explain movies, even if I'm saying, "Hey, I'm gonna just," I approach everything from a non-biased factor. I will give you what the movie's about if you want to know, and then I'll tell you what my experience was or what my take on it was. Always. That's always because I'm a professional first and foremost. I don't. I'm gonna give you my opinion, and it's funny how movies. Now, movies that I love, if someone says they hate it, I don't go off on them and be like, "Wow," I just be like, "Well, I mean, you didn't see what I saw, I guess, because I saw it this way." And I'm not saying you do that, Tony. I'm just saying I've been attacked online for saying that I walked out of the film. Oh my God, you must have a terrible eye. You must just go and personally attacked.
You
Or
can look at it. You can look at the trailer and tell what this movie was going to be.
but I'm
Literally.
but I just said okay. I watched. I gave it a shot. And it didn't work for me, and I don't really want to harp on this too much because we got to move on to the rest of our
By the
topics.
way,
But
Nuremberg is really good. If you know anything about the Nuremberg
oh, I
trial,
didn't I
stuff
didn't
like
know
that,
anything about that movie.
it's
What
really, really good.
Yeah, I'm hearing Oscar. It could be dripping in
really
Oscar
Yeah,
gold. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Great cast.
Nuremberg? Yeah, that was the one that it just came out as well. Of
Yeah,
course.
Russell
I mean,
Crowe might
and
might might
I
be
did.
best actor.
Oh, nice. I definitely want to mention this before moving on. Um, about because we talking about the weekend recap and all that stuff. I noticed that there's been what's that the new Sydney Sweeney movie has been like a really box office flop, and that's fine. I did not see that
What movie
yet.
is that?
It's the movie
Christy.
about the coal miner's daughter, the boxer.
Christy.
Oh, okay.
What's her
Okay.
name?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Becky.
Is that her name? I don't remember
Yeah.
her name. Christy Martin or Becky, something
Yeah,
like that.
Christy.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay,
Martin.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so I plan on seeing that because I'm, hey, I'm a moviegoer. You don't pay for a movie subscription and not go see movies.
The movies, right?
So, I'm gonna go check it. But I do feel that regardless of the fact, we all know why this movie flopped out the gate because of everybody's feelings on the situation with her and the jeans commercial and stuff like that. And just like I defended Jonathan Majors for his movie flopping because of the negative whatever press that he got leading up to that, I defend her. I haven't seen it yet,
This
so
film.
I can't defend her too much because I haven't seen it yet. But if I see it and I enjoy it, then I would do the
But
same thing what I did with
but
Jonathan.
why? I don't understand. Why are people still hanging her up over the stupid Gene commercial that
Yeah,
had?
it's just,
I
yeah,
tell
she
you,
didn't
I
write
tell
it.
you
She
why.
didn't write it. She didn't whatever. And okay, she starred in it. Of course, she starred in it. They paid her to star in it. So
No, that's not it now. No. What it is that like a week or so ago, she was interviewed about the movie, and the interviewer is trying to put her in a position to apologize apologize for the commercial.
For the
And
ad?
she really
shouldn't do that though.
and
She
she
shouldn't
really is like,
apologize
there's,
for it.
there's nothing to apologize for. So
I
now,
agree.
yeah,
There's nothing for her to apologize for. She did not write or create that commercial. It is nothing for her to apologize for. I agree with her. And
Sweeney has good genes. The woman is fine. She got good goddamn genes. It's the perfect
Right.
it's the perfect ad.
And we know the whole thing that the whole people dug deep into it. But my thing is this: I think she did the right thing, avoiding those questions as much as she could. Number one, she's got a movie to promote, so why is she? She don't want to even talk about that. That's gone. It's past. It happened. It's past. She has a movie to promote that she's very proud of. She said in many interviews that she's very proud of. And the bottom line is, she did not write, create, nor produce that commercial line. She just starred in it. That's it. So I don't think I agree with her. She has nothing to, in my opinion, she has nothing to apologize
Guilty by
about.
association.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, guilty by association. But that's the same thing with, Jonathan Majors was a little bit different because he was quote unquote convicted, unfairly in my opinion, of this situation. But once again, his movie suffered for it, and it's a shame because that movie was excellent. And he did.
And now you got to worry about catching now you got to worry about trying to get a check and whether you're going to offend somebody. So now what's going to happen is, to compliment what AJ just said, now you got to going into an ad, a possible ad job. Now you as the actor or as the potential role in the said ad, now you have to have an agent pre-read the script to you and tell you, oh, this is what it is. Are you going to take the job? So now your check is going to be dependent on what you think is possibly going to offend the public. Fuck out of here.
Agents ain't gonna do that.
Nope.
Tony, you deal with agents all your life. You know agents ain't doing that.
Agents just want money, and whether or not it's going to be good for your client, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
I'm gonna
If
be
they
honest
get
with you.
paid, they get paid, and they get all the bonuses, all the extra amenities, all that shit. Fucking.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I really wasn't expecting that movie Christie to do that well anyway, because generally a lot of these sport highlight things or they don't do well. I mean, unless you were someone in the sports world that was super big but really recognizable, right? Because I mean, I didn't see the Jonathan Majors thing, but I could say the same thing for the Dwayne Rock thing for Smashing, and I mean, honestly, even
and the same thing with the Clarice movie. I haven't heard nothing about, and that chick is a superstar in the boxing world right now.
And honestly, even though Margot Robbie was in it, the same thing for I, Tonya.
Which was also very good. Yeah.
Right, it was very good. Now, what will happen come awards time? Even if the movie is a bomb, if the Academy likes it, that's what will happen.
Sweet.
Hey, Wes,
That's
how did
when
the
it be
Bruce
strong.
Springsteen biopic do?
Oh,
See,
that's another thing. That's another
doing
one.
that well.
But the funny thing is,
That's
Bruce
a really good
Springsteen
movie.
is a very big star. You know what I mean? He's a very. But see, I think the problem is
it's Jersey. I'm telling you what it is. It's Jersey.
No.
Ain't Jersey. That ain't got nothing to do with
it. I think the problem is.
I'm only fucking with you, Ralph.
These stories about these people, they're from our generation. They're not from this generation. So
dude, their angst is out of this world. It's so like I never thought that Bruce Springsteen was fucked up in the head like that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you exactly what the problem is.
Never thought he was fucked up in the head, and he had daddy issues and all this fucking other shit. You're like,
but that's also because that's what made him what he was when he came out. He was like this. He was salt of the Jersey earth, and you know what I'm saying. And he was like the lower blue collar, the iron worker type of.
Too.
But no, he was a popular musician. I mean, everybody he signed on, but he didn't want to do. They're talking about the Born in the USA album just before that and the one after that. He did the album for them, for Jimmy Iovine, but then all the stuff that he wanted to do didn't want to do it, and it's how hard he fought to get the music that he wanted to get done, and the guy was suicidal and all this shit.
Yeah,
I'm like,
the music industry,
usual rock star shit. Usual rock.
Yeah,
star.
but Tony, that's and Wes can confirm what I'm saying, and Ralph to some degree too. That's what the music industry does to you. They pull you in. Your ideas. It's not until about your third or fourth album when they're ready to push you out or off of the label that you get to start to float your ideas in. And if you don't have hits off the rip, if your first two songs.
He had hits, but he wanted to get his own shit out.
But here's the thing. He had hits that he knew was hits, but the label doesn't know. And you got to remember, especially back in those days, the A&Rs ran everything.
Oh, no, he dealt with Jimmy Iovine, and I've dealt with Jimmy Iovine myself. Fucking asshole.
That part too.
But dude, no, he had hits on all his albums. They just wanted the same shit, and he's like, no, I want to put these things out.
But again,
at the end of the movie, they let him do what he wanted to do. But dude, he was a really like
I said, typical. What they should have did. I'm gonna tell you why it's not going. They wanted to call it Springsteen. They should have called it Born in the USA because for people in my generation, the '80s,
that's they know the song.
That we know Bruce Springsteen for.
But it wasn't about that. It had nothing to do with that.
I know, but Tony, get what he's saying. If you want to pull people in, you got to bring them in sometimes with the thing that's most relative.
No, I'm saying that the movie is good. People want to draw in for marketing wise. But you know what? It's the same thing. Bruce Springsteen probably had his hand in the marketing into like what they could do and not do and stuff like that. So it wasn't misrepresented.
Okay.
Because it's a heavy duty film. But I mean,
really?
I was like glued. And again, I've seen the guy live 5 times and 3-hour show, and he's a happy celebration the entire time. But to see this side of him, even now, I never thought he had this side of him.
That's what makes
look. Hey, Tony. Tony, look what they did. I'm sorry, Wes, to cut you off. Tony, look, remember what they did to John Cheadle when Don Cheadle wanted to do Miles Davis, and they railroaded that whole shit and made it be about what's his face saving, basically trying to save Miles Davis from being a drug addict. They changed the whole. Don Cheadle didn't even want to do the movie anymore because they rechanged the whole script to make it about something that he was trying to cover the whole scope of Miles Davis. And
but
they fucked
the
whole
hand,
thing up.
Look at Ray and look at James Brown. Those movies were fucked up character guys. Those movies were amazing. And stuff
but they absolutely were. But they had actors who had approval, A, from the family members, and 2, the artist was still
this one had like everything they wanted.
Spent time. Jamie spent time with Ray Charles.
Yeah, exactly.
He passed.
No, even this one had the approval and all the stuff. I mean, Bruce Springsteen's a producer on it.
I just
don't think that people can believe that he had that dark side.
Well, maybe
I don't know why. I don't know why.
I don't know why not.
Because
realistically speaking, almost every single musician I know, whether you do hip hop, rock and roll, blues, whatever, you all got that. Everybody got that dark part.
As a matter of fact,
they wanted to check out. If it was a drug problem, very few people I know don't have any type of demons in their past that dictated who they became.
To that exact point that Ralph just said, Wale just said the same thing Ralph just said on the Joe and Jada show today. The episode that was released today. He said he's in the industry. He said there's not a rapper, an artist that he knows of in this game that at some point hasn't reached a dark corner where they had to deal with some kind of issue whether it be drugs, whether it be whatever, that put them in a dark place and they have to climb out of it. So
Well, shit, dude. Being a successful executive and dealing with all your hanging on or friends, I'm a prime example of that. You know, that all that shit. You know, so I believe
I
that.
know it's looking to be. I can't wait to see that. I mean, I myself, I kind of agree with what Ralph said about how biopics fall to the wayside. I also think it has something to do with them, with the relevance of them in the present day, with the present audience.
Exactly.
It really has to be. I think that's a big. That's not the only thing, but it's a big part of it. You know, people from our generation need to support this movie if they, you know, I'm just saying they don't have to, but I'm just saying.
I'm telling you.
But you need to. If you wanted to move,
it needs the people that was around when Bruce was popping to support the movie. You know
what the funny? You know what the funny thing is?
Called Born to Run. I mean, it should have been called Born in the USA.
Born in the USA.
If it was called Born in the USA,
that might have brought some other people.
And they would have put no, but they would have called it Born in the USA, and they would have had the actor doing that scene where he's standing there on the stage in the white t-shirt and the blue jeans and the red.
He hated that
thing. Tony, you're right. He did hate it, but you know what? Even if they would have cut that scene that Ralph just said, even if they would have cut that for the trailer and it wasn't in the movie, that would have put butts in seats.
Yes, I think they did use a couple of his hits in the trailer, but Born in the USA is probably 30 seconds in the movie, and they talk about it and he totally hated it. He hated that whole side of the marketability, and then again, I mean, dude, like I said, I've dealt with Jimmy Iovine, and the way that Jimmy Iovine was talking to him on the phone and to his manager, I'm like, I know that fucker. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss in your show.
Yeah. No,
but you're like,
let us just segue to,
which leads me to Michael Jackson.
Yes,
dude. So before, I know you're gonna love it. Everybody's gonna talk about it. I think that I don't think they're gonna talk about the Eddie Van Halen part, and when she influenced all his later albums, where he got really popular.
That's got to be mentioned. That's got to be mentioned.
See any of it anywhere. But number two,
you're not going to see that in the trailer.
I don't know in the write-ups in the cast. I don't think that he might get over the crowd that like I have issues regarding the child molesting.
That's not going to be in the movie. It's not going to be.
But he didn't. He was proven innocent by the FBI. Let it go.
Well, here's the deal about that. Okay, now it's definitely some of it or mention of it is going to be in the movie.
They are going to have that in there. They are going to talk about that.
But they had to do reshoots based on the fact that they were talking about the gentlemen's that the guys that made the documentary Leaving Neverland, and they had to do reshoots because of that, because that guy threatened to sue, because they did address it in the movie. They addressed that, and because the guy threatened to sue, they pulled that part out of the movie and had to do some reshoots for it. Now, I'm sure it is. Now, I know some people that was at CinemaCon and saw the trailer at CinemaCon, the real trailer, not the teaser. And they did say that there's going to be they are touching on it. I don't know how in depth they're going with it, but that's definitely, they almost can't tell his full story without touching on it, because the fact of the matter of how his life ended and how
them bitches
the last few years leading up to his death, how all of that kind of ties in.
And that those two bitch boys lied about what they said.
Right. Well, they're going to have to touch on it. They may not go as in depth as they want to, because they don't want nobody trying to make any paper off of it by trying to sue and stuff like that. What I think they should do, but they're probably not going to do it, they should use archival footage. Then they can't be sued.
There you go. Then they can't be sued for it.
Can't be sued, but dude, the actor does not look like Michael Jackson at all.
Well, I mean, he is a Jackson.
He close
And,
enough. He's
you know,
close enough.
he
He is not
he
going to
looks
be
like
the
his
spit.
father. He looks
Right.
like
I mean, we talking. Well, he don't look like Michael Jackson. Yo, the
Yeah.
guy that's playing Bruce Springsteen looks nothing like him.
Yeah, and that happens
He
all
looks
the
like
time.
Bruce when he was younger. Yes, sir.
That happens all the time.
But
I mean,
here's the
let me make my point.
go ahead.
Lawrence Fishburne looks nothing like Ike Turner.
Nope.
Not even close. Right? But he was
But he's already played him before.
What'd you say?
What?
Lawrence Fishburne played Ike a long time ago.
No, that's what I'm saying. He looked nothing like Ike Turner.
Oh, okay.
Bastard don't
I'm
look
like, wait,
nothing
I'm
like
The
him.
same
confused.
thing.
This
The
one?
same thing. And
did a
here's the
great
thing.
job.
The same thing that I thought Lawrence Fishburne was supposed to play Malcolm X, but Denzel bodied it. By the middle of the movie, you bought that he was Malcolm X.
Here's the deal. And what people
The thing
like
is, the Malcolm X dude, that's a whole separate theme and separate
it
story.
is.
Because it's
We're talking about imaging. Come on, man. Don't try to dress it. Don't try to pull it into all of that.
No, I'm
We're
talking
just
about a
talking
story.
about
I'm talking about a story. The Malcolm X
no,
story,
but
I've seen that movie a dozen times.
me too myself. But what we're talking about is what a person looks like compared to the person in real life. What always happens is
Oh, that was
midway
just an
through the
observation,
film.
dude. It's
So
not a
let
big
me
talking point.
let me finish my
Fuck
point.
out of here, man. What
So
are you talking about?
let me finish my point. Now,
Jackass.
let me finish my point.
I said what I
You're
said.
in a good mood. Your chip is so big right now.
It is. He is.
So, listen, all right, let's go. Let's stay focused here.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's stay focused here. Now, Chadwick Boseman looks nothing like James Brown
At all.
Lawrence Fishburne looks nothing like Ike Turner
At all.
And people like to tell themselves and think that Denzel Washington looks like Malcolm X, but he really
But
doesn't.
he don't.
But it doesn't matter because what happens is, and if you think about it, most of the actors in the New Edition movie didn't look like New Edition.
Nothing like them.
It's all about your performance. If the performance
It was a New Edition movie?
Yeah.
It was
damn good too.
It was
It was
very
damn
good.
good.
What?
You gotta check it, man. It's a great movie. It's like a two-parter or a three-parter.
It's the three-parter.
Yeah, it's a three-parter. Chronicled their whole career, including some of Bobby Brown's, and then it spent off a Bobby Brown movie. All of that was done by BET.
Tony, you got to see it, man. It's dope.
Yeah.
Got that TLC movie, the same thing. That TLC movie was damn good.
Yeah,
man.
I saw that TLC movie. That was really good.
TLC, they did look like TLC. Now that they did, I'll give them that. But my point is this. My point is this. The New Edition movie, none of them really looked like the New Edition people. But what happens is if you do the performance right, you start to look like these people because you have their mannerisms. You have their so as long as Jaafar is able to capture some of the essence of his uncle, and who else? It's his uncle. He grew up around him.
He knows the man personally.
And his brother obviously is Jaafar's father, and it's not like he doesn't look nothing like he's a Jackson, but he looks like his father, who was Jermaine Jackson.
Yeah, I think what the problem is, a lot of people are stuck on the last years of Michael Jackson.
Everybody's there. The last few years of Michael, you got the impersonators that's making, people. There's a whole trend now of people showing impersonators that was looking disappointed seeing the trailer. But guess what? You're an impersonator. You only look like Michael Jackson for the last half of his career. So you couldn't be cast as Michael Jackson because how they gonna make you look like Michael Jackson before he looked like this? Before he looked like the whiter skin, after the vitiligo kicked in and he started changing the skin and all of that stuff. What happens to that? So my point is,
tell them about your theory, Wes.
I pull all that in to say that it's about the performance. Now, is Jaafar an actor? I mean, well, we'll find out. He's definitely.
Well, dude, it's a Fuqua movie, so I hope it's good.
Huh?
Yeah, now you see that part. That's the only reason I wasn't agreeing I wasn't in agreement with this movie until they said Antoine Fuqua was on board. Once they said that, I was like, all right, I'll give it a
That's
chance.
another thing. I trust Antoine Fuqua. The fact that the family is, pretty much
They
On board,
behind it.
pretty
They
much.
on. They fully on board with this
they are
movie.
fully on board. The estate. I'm gonna trust that. And to be honest with you, it's about time we get a Michael Jackson story from the perspective of Michael Jackson and what he felt at the time. And the only people that's still alive that can tell you what he felt at the time are his family. So
From
I
his
mean,
kids, from his kids
from his
on up to the adults.
now about his kids. Now Paris, his daughter, she's not now a lot of don't let people fool you out there. Don't let the fake news fool you. Now, granted, she's not involved with the film, but she wasn't going around trashing the film. She was not doing that. People saying, "Oh, Paris Jackson's trashing the Michael Jackson film." She was not. She simply,
Dude, if she ever wants to sing or act or whatever, she's got the look.
yeah,
She's
she
all
does.
tatted everywhere, but she's got the
She's
look.
been acting. She's been
And she's
acting a
got
little.
the attitude.
Yeah, she's got the attitude. So let me just quickly break that down. So Paris said in an interview, and this is the only interview she really addressed it. She said, "I don't have anything to do with the film." She got a little defensive because I think Coleman Domingo said something about because she met Coleman Domingo. They had a good, meeting or whatever, but not about the film. She met him at another event. Anyway, he mentioned something about her being on board or being supportive or whatever, and she's like, "I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth." She said, but then she explained. She said, "I read the first draft of the film. I gave notes to the studio as they requested, and they didn't address my notes." She said, "When they didn't address them, I put stuff in that I felt needed to be in there to be more authentic, and they didn't want to address it. What that is, we don't know. It could be like what Ralph said. It could be a lot of the negative stuff that she felt should be addressed, and they might have pulled it out. I don't know. That's just me speculating. But when she said, I washed my hands of it when they decided not to address my notes. And she said, that was it. She said, it's very simple. They asked me for notes. I gave them notes. They didn't want to use my notes. She said, I fucked off and continued my life, period. That's exactly what she said. And I'm like, yo.
And you know what? As she does with anything else when it comes to her father. If it needs to be shut down, her and her brother shut it down. If it needs to be praised and amplified, they'll sign on board and they'll be along with it. But if they give notes, especially her, she's very outspoken when it comes to her dad.
It's her dad.
Exactly. Exactly.
And of course, here's the funny thing. Her and her siblings are in a very, very always been in a very tough situation. Because remember, they came onto the scene late, so to speak, because you got Michael Jackson fans have been lifelong Michael Jackson fans, such as myself. And way before they were ever in the picture, I grew up, not just grew up listening to Michael Jackson, following Michael Jackson and things like that, imitating Michael Jackson myself. And so those fans, those core of fans are the ones that may have the most no, I don't even know if they have the most complaints, because it's more so ironically the newer fans that came on a little bit later that maybe joined the Michael Jackson train by the time he put out like Bad and all of that stuff, and Black or White and all that stuff. There's a lot of fans that didn't jump on until Black or White,
Yeah.
And continued from there. Those people, everyone's got something to say, and I'm okay with him not looking exactly like Michael Jackson. But I tell you one thing, he got the voice now. He sounds
he better have all the mannerisms. This is what I said about Wicked. You better not not mess it up.
And here's the other thing for people. Here's the other thing. Prepare yourself for. to piggybacking on what Ralph just said, y'all better be prepared for this version of Michael Jackson to be speaking with a deep voice, because Michael Jackson didn't always talk with that with his voice that he's known for on records
Yeah,
and in interviews.
that was his stage voice, we'll call it.
Right,
Um,
right.
that he does. But he did get the voice down for the little bit that we heard in the trailer. He got the voice down, and that was the Michael Jackson voice that everybody knows him by, and the laugh and everything. I think the movie. I hope the movie is great. I don't know if it's going to be great. I hope it is, but how bad can it be? Because you're talking about Michael Jackson, and the funny thing is, how authentic can any most outsiders even judge it? Because you only knew Michael Jackson for what he wanted you to know him.
Wait a minute.
No one
I'm
knew
Can you
sorry.
say that
Wait,
part
wait, wait.
again?
no
I'm
one knew
sorry,
Michael
man.
Jackson beyond what they
Wes,
seen in the
I
I
gotta
gotta
jump, but can
I
we
gotta just
talk about the HBO thing real quick?
Yeah. I'm about to get onto that. Go ahead,
Okay.
Ralph. Make your point.
right. I get where you're coming from, but one thing I gotta say, man, some of the things that were in it, the Motown 25, and that one shot, that close shot of his face with the light coming behind him, I mean, that was looked like it came right from a Michael Jackson concert.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
did.
that's those type
That
of
looks
things
good.
you
You
can't
need
get
those.
wrong.
No,
You
you can't get
know,
wrong. I agree. Those you can't get wrong because it's public knowledge. Everybody knows it. And it's the same producers from Bohemian Rhapsody, and they got it right with that part.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I believe that part. Once again, have a little faith in our boy Antoine Fuqua. I believe
Well, they already predicted this that this thing is going to hit $1 billion when it comes out next year.
it
I was
probably
like,
will.
yeah, and they said so if they're going to split it in half, but they said they feel the first part is probably going to be $1 billion movie, and if it
Probably
is, it's going. They say it's going to be the highest grossing, I guess
biopic.
what you biopic ever, which it probably
Yeah.
is. But they said they already predicting it's going to hit $1 million next year. I can't
Yeah.
wait to see this thing.
Yeah.
It's going to bring back. It's going to remind me when I saw Purple Rain, where the crowd is
Right.
not going to be sitting
Everybody. Oh
down;
yeah,
they're going to
people
be
gonna be
dancing
dancing in the aisle.
all night long.
So let's move on to the WB situation. And I definitely want to make sure Tony, you get your points in before you have to go or anything. Watch your back out there, man. You got your piece with you, you on the side of the road.
Yeah. Roll your window up, dude. Before you get splashed by some water or something. Roll the window up.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
big street, and then it's like the middle grassy lined with trees stuff in the street, and I'm in a good neighborhood.
Okay. All right, cool. That makes sense. So obviously Netflix has thrown their hat in the ring officially with the Warner Brothers thing. We talked about it a little off of air, Tony. And it's getting very interesting with them. They didn't just it's not like this is casual, like they're really going hard. They even acquired the bank that put together the offer. I think it was the offer that when Paramount
Grandma was
bought.
chilling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when
yeah. Hey
Paramount was
Tony,
bought. Yeah.
sorry, Wes. Hey Tony, you got to roll your window up, man. It's bleeding up into the show.
Yeah, and thank you, sir. And so they've reached out to, and here's the interesting though. They're not when I said at the top of the show, not what you think. They're not as really interested in any of the cable side of Warner Brothers. They're more interested in the obviously DC in the movies, basically, in the TV, TV series. So with that being said, Tony, what have you heard? I know you've heard some stuff in the rumblings and stuff. What have you heard from that end?
Grandma's done massive layoffs. They're just threatening
You sound a little muffled there. I think your mic is covered or something.
no, I got you up there. I'm down here.
There you go. I can
Okay,
hear you.
now that's better. That's better.
That's better.
Grandma's
Now you muffled again.
they're trying to tighten up their bottom line. Not only that, but having a bunch of flops.
Now we can't hear you again, Tony. I don't know. You were
Yeah, man,
perfect
you
up
got to
until
put
right
that window
now.
up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
You
man,
have
you
your
got to
window
roll
up.
that window up, man.
Yeah,
So
roll
like
your
I
window
said,
up.
my window's up.
Oh,
Okay.
I keep hearing. It sounds
I
like
keep hearing cars go by you.
coming by. But
All right.
yeah. Make sure they're all up.
All right. Everything is up.
There
All
you
right.
go.
So it's hot as fuck over here. Sorry.
Oh, okay. How bad?
That's why we keep hearing them cars go by. But go ahead.
All right.
It's
So
very,
Paramount's had massive layoffs on every department, from development to features to television.
right.
They lost the contract with Sheridan. He's only on till
What?
next year.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Are you still with Sheridan? They lost
Yep.
that?
He's moving over to NBC.
Holy shit.
So they're losing all these things. So they're not looking as solid as they were. Plus, they're not having a lot of hits. And like you said, Netflix is now getting a bigger bank and getting all these things going on. But also, they've been playing up their social media, their marketing campaign for their DC products. But now, what Zack Snyder's been saying, he's not going to do a live action sequels to Vision, including the Batman with Batfleck, but they're all going to be animated.
Oh, damn it.
Okay.
But the actors will be on it.
Right.
Okay.
But it's just he can do an animated version of what he wants a lot faster. Plus, I'm sure that Henry Cavill's committed with the MCU for a long, long time. So he's not going to have
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
to Superman.
Yeah.
So he did say that if he does do it, he wants to do it in animated, because that is the only way to do it. Because at this point, everybody's doing separate things, and they can go ahead and get an actor into the studio and get the stuff way faster than shooting live action.
Yeah, much. And that tracks because, number one, Netflix, along with a lot of other streamers, they know that they have to start cutting their budgets down making these films. And making that film live action is just
Netflix is making money.
I know they making the money, but period. This, the studios they got to start
They're
cutting
not
some of
making
these
that kind
budgets.
of money.
They got to start cutting some of these budgets.
Tony, let me ask you something. Since you know a lot about this, and I'm just reaching here, because since I've been in the rehab, I kind of been forced to start watching cable news because of either the roommates that I have or walking in the main cafeteria area. What's the deal with CNN? Are they like? But what's because I'm starting to see that they're starting to lean like more towards the right with some of this stuff.
They're right leaning because of threats from our POTUS.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm
and a
not
lot
crazy.
of their reporters have quit because of it.
Yeah.
And they're
Okay.
part of these all these other internet news
Podcasters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and they just couldn't do it anymore. It's pandemic, they were too told to do whatever, and they just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, I heard that as well. And let's reiterate that Netflix is not interested in any of the legacy, what they call the legacy media networks, and they want to be choosy about their targets. So they really just want the movies, the DC properties, the movies and the television. That's really all they want. They don't want CNN. They don't want none of that, the cable stuff. And this kind of reminds me of not with Warner Brothers, when this kind of reminds me when who just sold something for when the Fox deal went through, where how Disney only wanted to acquire certain parts of Fox. Fox also didn't want to sell like Fox News, Fox Sports.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So they were really, so it kind of reminds me of that, and it opens up for Warner Brothers to do what they want and maybe even break even or make some money by selling that part off separately. Maybe
I just want to be.
acquire it.
Now here's what I want to be. Here's what I want to be clear on. Now with Netflix making this move, do they want all of DC, like including the comic side and the movies?
No, they
just want the movies. They just want the movies.
Oh.
They don't have any interest in the comic books. They don't have any interest in whatever TV shows.
Okay, go ahead, Ralph. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they don't have interest in the comics and not interest in the TV shows. They just want the movie part. So they can do what they want. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea.
Okay, because that was going to be my next question to Tony. How does that look for the landscape if you don't have the source material when it comes to making some of these movies? Is the new stuff going to be the flying off the cuff? And also, how does this affect James Gunn?
James Gunn is probably out, although Zack Snyder said that he can stay on.
Yeah, because I don't think Snyder is going to. Snyder is not interested in running the DC part of Warner Brothers. He's not interested in that. He actually wants to kind of do his own thing.
Yeah, we can't.
Your audio is real messed up, man. I don't know what's happening.
I'm just going to say this because I didn't get the chance to say this on the last show about this. This is a mistake waiting to happen. Oh, see you, Tony.
All right, brother. We appreciate you, man.
We'll talk to you later,
catch you later, Tony. Make sure you be back next week, man. Love you, man.
Right. I have been looking at this thing from different people. And everybody concentrates, well, DC this, DC, and like Warner Brothers is not just DC. You have to look at the entire thing, right? And I would rather it go to either Paramount or Amazon quicker than Netflix. Because one thing that Netflix is going to do, well, if they make another Batman movie, if Warner sells the stuff to Amazon, Netflix is not going to put the movie into the theaters. They're going to have it strictly for streaming.
Right.
I'm sorry. I don't want to see a new Superman movie or Batman movie on streaming. Later. I want to see it in the theater first. Right.
Well, you know what, Ralph? I think what they might do is like what they just did with the recent Frankenstein movie, which Netflix has been doing over the past couple of years. They'll give it like a 2-3 week release date in the theaters, and then they move it right to streaming. I think
for something on the property of these DC movies, and I'm not the biggest fan of the current DC films. However, I do recognize when you have something that appeals to a mass audience. People want to go see a Batman or a Superman movie, Wonder Woman on a big screen first. They very well may go look at it later on streaming, which is different than the Frankenstein movie. Frankenstein was in movies for 1 week, and now it's on streaming. They're about to drop that next issue of Knives Out. They're going to have it in the theater for 1 week, and then when they put it in the theater, right? All theaters are not Amazon. Netflix don't have contracts with all theaters. It goes into selected theaters. They only play maybe 100-200 theaters, right?
Yeah.
So I may not. So if you do that, I may not be able to see it.
Right.
It's possible.
Here's the deal with that, and I agree with you, Ralph. I agree with that, but here's the deal. Netflix, I don't know if they'll make any adjustments. They probably won't. I don't think Netflix really cares. They make money on their model because they've always made money on the way their model is, because they do things the way everyone else doesn't do.
They've been doing
started doing it when they were doing the damn DVDs and sending them to people's house. when everybody was like, I want to go to Blockbuster and get my DVDs. And people just like Blockbuster laughed them out of the building when they told them about their model.
I can agree to that. But when it comes to the movies with theatrical release, like, look, first of all, the bulk of the movies that Netflix has made are trash. They're yeah. And
I mean, I'll give you that for some of the foreign flicks, because they're not putting the quality into the sound design of when they translate them to English.
Red Notice wasn't all of that. It really truly wasn't for all.
No, it wasn't. It was a good film, but it wasn't all of that. You're right.
But that's what I'm saying. They sunk how many millions of dollars into that movie, right? To put it onto Netflix to get them a one-time thing. It didn't attract brand new people into buying Netflix. It maybe for the first month, but that's it. That's all it does, right?
But that's what it's supposed to do.
Think of how much money that thing could have potentially made if you put it onto the big screen.
But you got to remember, Ralph, you're right. But here's the thing. That's why Netflix they've been at the. You remember the one point where they was trying. What was that movie theater chain that they were trying to? Because when they were floating the idea of having their own movie theater chain, and they were going to release movies that way.
They didn't do it. They didn't do it. So you don't have that outlet. And this is the other thing, is that if you look at way movies go, if you have a movie that is theatrically released and it goes to streaming, the streaming will get more views because people already saw it and want to see it again. You're going to attract more people. So if you buy the DC, we're just going to stick to just DC. If you buy the DC properties and you make the movies and you put them on Netflix, right? They're taking a chance to say, okay, we say we putting out a brand new version of Superman 2, right? And hell, we might even bring back Zack Snyder to do it. That people going to sit there and say, okay, I'm gonna just get my Netflix. They very well may just get Netflix just to see the movie. But if you already have a viewership of 100 million people that's going to look at it, and you get another 2,000 views, you really haven't made the money for what you're going to make into the movie. You're not doing it because they're going because those people got.
Well, I mean, you also got to think. Anyway. You also got to think, Ralph. The way Netflix is set up now, they also make more money because people take the lower version of Netflix and it has advertising. So now they make more money, and the bulk of their bulk of their people now, especially the new subscribers, take the lower tier. And I can deal with 3 or 4 commercials or whatever.
I understand all that, but my still point is this, that you're not going to make as much money doing that as you could by putting something like a DC film into a theater first, then bringing it over.
Ralph, I agree.
Hold on a second. If Netflix had a history of that, then I would say okay, maybe. But
they do kind of sort of.
No, they don't. No, they don't because like that
they don't do it with all of their movies, but with certain movies they do a 2 week to week, 2 to 3 week.
Maybe they'll do. I think a big movie they'll put a few. They'll put it in the theaters selected. I mean, Apple does that too. You know, Apple does the same thing. Most streamers. They're a streamer, so they're gonna stick to what they know.
But Apple. But see, the thing with that, Apple listened to people. That's why F1 was in theaters first before it went to streaming. They make almost $500 million, which is nothing but pure profit for them by putting it in theaters first and then putting it onto streaming.
Right. But to your point, Ralph, Apple had already been doing that before even F1. They were doing that. Most of those Monday surprise movies at Regal Theaters. Most of those movies are Apple movies.
But Kevin, even if you said that most of them for the Monday night preview are Apple movies, did they have a sustained theatrical release?
That's some of them no. Some of them are just for the Monday night, but they did have. Yeah,
but that blows that whole theory out the water. I'll even take it.
Kind of sort of.
What was that 2 years ago? Netflix had a movie which was Blondie about Marilyn Monroe, right?
Mm-hmm.
That generated
Uh-huh.
Oscar buzz.
Yep.
They just kept it on their streams, so they never put it in theaters. How many millions did they lose by not putting it into theaters for even if you put it from December to March, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many millions of dollars did you just let sit on the table because because they had a Netflix like we don't want to do it. Even now, the guy that directed Weapons, he's doing another movie for Netflix. They told him, well, they first said we're going to make theirs. Said, you know, on second thought, we're not going to do theatrical. We're just going to do stream. He said, well, I'm not doing the movie now. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, of course, this was one of the points that I had to bring out in the first place. You kind of ushered us into it anyway. What it means for if Netflix acquires, this is the theaters are very panicking almost. They don't want Netflix to acquire Warner Brothers, because now all of the, like you just said, Ralph, all the potential movies that would go into the theaters from Warner Brothers that's not really going to happen. And occasionally they'll do a limited release. And will they adopt doing it a little more? I don't think they will, but they could if they wanted to. And like to your point, Ralph, you put out about what you call it, Apple. They did it and made a lot of extra money by doing it and leaving it out there, at least a few weeks before they bring it to streaming, right? So putting it in the theaters first for a theater run. I think obviously I would consider it if obviously the draw is there, the people are there. So yeah, let's just say they acquire DC. Let's say they keep Gunn involved, and Gunn makes another Superman movie. So I mean, not like Superman killed at the box office, but it did something. So yeah, you would want to put that out there at least a few weeks, and then, but they probably won't. I mean, their model has worked for them. So who are we to really question it? Because they've made money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So they're worth a lot of
have.
money. Their model
They
has
have.
worked for them. And I think, to be honest with you, they're more so, and it's just my theory. I think they're just more so in purchasing that catalog because of the rewatchability
Exactly.
of the film
Exactly.
and TV series and animated shows and things of that nature. All of that, the rewatchability of it all. Because what happens is, obviously, you think that just because, okay, well, if you have a Netflix, they're subscribers, but what people are not realizing is there's always new subscribers coming on to Netflix, and then now that they added the ad model to it, they're getting extra revenue. Their revenue used to be strictly off subscriptions. Now they get it off that. They also sell ad space to people. They do brand marketing. They sell merchandise. They do all of these other things
and
that brings in money on their thing. So their model has worked for them. But I agree with you. I would want them to go in theaters and stuff like that.
But you can't. But you can't. But see, here's the thing: you cannot write off the ad revenue piece because the stockholders asked for that. And I said this because we had this conversation about 10 years ago about Netflix when it was starting to go in this direction. And then when COVID happened, and then we were talking about 5 years later, and we were talking about how streaming was going to start to be funding. And I remember saying that everybody, including Disney, is going to start going to ad-based shows. Why? I can say that because I already saw it happening with, well, not necessarily with Disney Plus, but with Sling, Disney Plus. A lot of those things were starting to present the thing of ad-based revenue and helping their streaming. That's what was helping those markets or those particular platforms go. So I knew the only way that Netflix, Disney Plus, Now HBO Max.
And all of that.
Well, HBO Max. I'm gonna take them off the slate.
And I think
But
HBO Max will be gone once this deal is over. The Amazon
oh, it's over for them because
That's
I'm
it.
gonna tell you, I'm
All
not
that's gonna
paying.
come over to Amazon anyway. All that
I'm not paying
coming over to
$15 a month. Yeah, I'm done paying $15 a month for a thing that I don't watch. And to be honest with you, the only reason why I watch it is to watch the DC animation shit
right. And
that I've never seen.
here's another point, y'all, that what people aren't in the last few years, and I got to look up the exact numbers, but I know from being a paying customer of Netflix been raising their prices like every other year. They've been raising their prices.
Slowly. They've been doing it like
raise their prices. Right.
They've been doing it like a frog in hot water.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another way that they're making extra, because the better their content gets, the more on demand their content get, then if they don't see new subscribers, they just basically start taxing the subscribers that are already there. It's
And here's the crazy thing.
Wait, let me tell you. So, perfect example. I had for a while, I was like, yo, this is getting expensive. I'm gonna go down to the basic thing for Netflix. I don't care about commercials, right? I did that for a while until I wanted to watch a specific movie. Guess what happened?
Boom.
I clicked on it and it said, your plan can't watch this movie.
Watch this movie.
What the hell? And you know what I did? I bought the higher plan.
I don't know why people kept falling for the okie doke. I never listen when they upgraded. I'm like, okay, I got a budget for it. I can't do this. I can't do that. But I'm not losing my Netflix.
I effed around and found out because I was like, I don't watch Netflix that much like that. Let me go ahead and downgrade. And then I just wanted to watch and it wasn't even like this huge movie. I just wanted to watch I Know What You Did Last Summer, the remake of it. Oh, you're not the remake, but the whatever that's called. It's kind of like a sequel.
Oh, that's a brand new movie. Nope, not for you, buddy. It's brand new now.
Yep.
You better go back. You better go watch the original.
Listen, let me tell you something, Wes and Ralph. Let me tell you something. I laugh, and I don't mean to do it to you, Wes, but I laughed at everybody when they fell for that okie doke. They thought, oh, we just gonna settle for commercials. Okay. Believe that if you want to.
You don't understand. And the messed up part about it is they don't really explain that to you.
Nope, at all.
It's in the fine print. It's in the fine print.
It's in the very fine print.
In the very, very, very fine print.
But this is what I'm gonna say about even everything you just said is that I got what you said. Having the avenue, it gives extra revenue to Netflix, but it doesn't help the customer. The customer is the person that's paying for the thing. So Netflix could put ads all they want to, but if people don't look at it, then what was the point, right?
No, they have no choice but to look at it. The ads play regardless. You can't.
But there are people that have dropped Netflix and Disney Plus for this one reason. Well, hell, if I got regular television and it's commercials, why am I paying for the subscription?
That's why they tier the programs. But you don't always get to see. You don't always get to see that movie that you want to see when you want to see it on TNT or USA.
Agreed. But now that we're living in times where you have to nickel and dime everything that you spend money for.
I get it. I'm telling you, I personally was I'd say a victim of it. But all I'm saying is this: what Netflix is thinking is this. When Netflix was they're more so now because they now have gotten back to profitability. Because during the pandemic and in those few years, they were actually losing a lot of money. And that's because they were throwing out money like it was going out of style. They were paying people left and right because they wanted to get the big names over there to do their movies. When you
especially on the comedy side, they were going crazy with comedy
Notice, stuff like that. So they go and grab all these people and do this. So now what they're thinking about, what they're starting to do is spend a little less money, get more on concentrated material in this what's that called? Original material. So I think they're looking at Warner Brothers or they're looking at DC saying all the potential original things that could be developed based on the DC model that they got going. Whether let's just say they keep James Gunn, all of the original stuff, a lot of that stuff James Gunn even had planned in the beginning was original TV programming that was only going to be on HBO Max. So they look at that. They look at the potential rewatchability of the series and things of that nature, and that's what's really, since they started focusing on spending less money up front and really leaning into their model, they're back onto that. They're back as one of the heavier hitters out there. They're like a studio now. You know what I'm saying? Like so,
Yeah.
it's just like more like a private studio. But I mean, far as what my taste is, I would much rather see these films in the theaters. But I think Netflix is doing what they always do. They're staying a step ahead of everybody. They're looking into the future and they're saying, you know what? The future is the future is not theaters because of the generations. Our generations, as we grow older and die off, so will the theaters. Because the newer generations that are younger and coming in, they don't really care to go to theaters like that. So
I don't know about that because
they watch
until you start seeing like Predator, right? Predators came out this week and it did $40 million, right? Now, if you said Predators came out this week and it did $4 million, and you can back that
but
up.
This
Say,
is
okay,
the first film in a while. When's the last film that did this kind of numbers like that? I mean, you got to go
Sinners,
back to Sinners.
Superman.
That was in the beginning of the year.
I'm sorry, Superman, the Conjuring that just came out a couple of months ago.
Exactly,
So,
that one.
Actually, this is the year of horror. The horror
Yeah.
films are doing really good this year. But what I'm saying is, that's fine. But the horror films, younger crowds tend to be drawn to horror films. A lot of the time, younger generations, younger crowds, they tend to be drawn to horror films before
Like be expected that when because I'm supposed to go with my grandson. Hopefully, I'll be out of this facility by then. But when 5 weeks of when 5 days or 5 nights of Freddy comes out in December, that's going to be a big jump for a horror film pre-Christmas.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is. And so that I understand. But all I'm saying is I'm not talking about the right now. I'm not talking about the immediate future. I'm talking about them looking into it down the line. And the bottom line is, as this generations, they come up more, they get older, there's kids, they're looking generations down the line. My grandkids, my youngest daughter knows how to work freaking devices probably better than me, damn near. And she's 5 years old. You know why? So when she's 15 years old, that's all she's going to be using to consume her content, because that's just the way it's going. So they're looking at it that way, and they're setting up their model for that, where that's where people are going to be, and that's where they're going to consume their stuff. I'm not saying that theaters will be banished forever, but it's already been proven that obviously theaters are not as popular as they used to be, and you have to be a certain type of blockbuster film and not only that, these films have to utilize the internet and social media to really maximize their profitability at the films at the
Well, of
theaters.
course, you've always had to do that.
But not all do that. A lot of them, they'll do the basic of it. But what I mean is, it almost has to come with
bells and whistles.
I'm saying not a gimmick, but it almost has to come with a gimmick almost for people to like. Movies. What makes people go see movies nowadays? I mean, obviously word of mouth is always going to be.
It used to be star driven. It used to be who was
used to
in
be
the
star
movie.
driven. It's not anymore. Yeah, it's not
Then
anymore.
you had the era. The era that I hated the worst was the 3D era. They made everything 3D, and let's go see it
Even if
in
it wasn't
3D.
shot for that, they make it
Even
3D.
wasn't shot for that.
But
I got that.
right now, it is social media, and is it memeable? Are there memes? Are there things that people, so people can make little videos and say this, that, and the other? That's what really drove people out to see. That's what helped make Sinners become a success, because people were talking about the movie and making memes and making jokes and making this and that, and it helped. It wasn't the sole reason, but their marketing was good too. They did a great marketing campaign.
They
were
use
everywhere.
social media to their advantage.
They use social media to their advantage.
I'm gonna get my opinion. You know why they had to do that? And I'm specifically Sinners. You know why they had to do that?
They didn't have to do it.
No. I'm telling you, this is why they had to do it. No BET, no VH1.
Oh, okay, got you.
No MTV. Right?
Yeah,
because
you know what?
Michael B. Jordan and them would have been on all them programs all the time talking about Sinners. They would have been. And shout out to Sinners! Congratulations on y'all 6 Grammy
nominations.
Yeah. But
you know what, Ralph? I want to piggyback on what you just said. There would have been a point in time where those two, especially the first 2 networks that you mentioned, or the last 2, VH1 and MTV, they would have automatically, before that, they would have had a receipt on the red carpet when that movie was released.
It'd have been right there. And he would have been on T Summit, or he'd have been on TRL. He would have been on TRL.
Video
He'd have been on
Soul.
all of those things. He'd have been on. But here's the deal. One thing I loved about Sinners, I loved and hated. What I hated was on the campaign. I didn't get a chance. I wasn't fast enough to figure out how to get on that press list. But what I loved about it is they leaned into a lot of independent press outlets. They did a complete press run where they just sat in a studio somewhere in press outlet after press outlet after press outlet, mostly independents, were just popping on and they were doing like a what's that called, a remote press run, where they would jump on and talk to people like us, the independent shows that want to ask about the movie. They really leaned into that, as well as the major stuff, obviously the major stuff where they run around and do the network stuff. Then they did a big overseas tour as well. So they maximized their opportunities, and look, it worked out for them. It's people still talking about it now. They're still talking about it. There's still reactors reacting to it. They're still they're still talking about it. Now here we are. This is what I was talking about at the beginning of the, when it came out, about how, your fear, Ralph, your fear for them was that it'd be forgotten about by the time it's Oscar season. But we see that didn't happen. It ain't stopped. Right. It ain't stopped. It's been talked about since it came out. And to this day, in that workshop I was in, he referenced Sinners about 4 or 5 times. The writing guy, he referenced Sinners about 4 or 5 times. Actually had it in his examples, and so that was good. And it's kind of happening with other films too, not just them, but other films that came out maybe earlier in the summer. Some people
Weapons,
still talking about
people still talking
like
about Weapons. People
saying
like, yo, you didn't see Weapons yet? You need to see that.
Yeah, people still talking about
Weapons was one of the last handful of movies I saw. It was in my last my last block of movies, of 8 movies that I watched before I went to the hospital, and I haven't been. And the only thing I came out to see was what's it called. My daughter took me out for my birthday to see what's it called. God damn it. Anyway, it'll come to me.
But we about to hit it now, because Wicked is 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
And basically about behind it is Avatar. So it's about to get.
And I think is Avatar a 2-parter or no?
It's part. It's
It's,
part three.
it's part. No, it's part two.
Part
This
three.
is part.
So yeah,
This is part. I thought this
What
was
I mean
part
is, are
two.
they splitting it? Is it just
Yeah, this is the
Fire and
second part
Ash?
of the third part. Yeah, this is the second
No,
movie.
no, it's just
and
it's
there's.
part. It's part three. It's part three, and then the
Oh,
next
I
one to
thought there
come out
was
will be
one more
part
after
four.
movie after this, right?
Yeah, this supposed to be three more after this one come out. So it's supposed to go
Oh,
like
it's
Avatar
three.
7.
I mean, they're all
Oh shit.
they're all different parts, but they're all their own contained movies. I guess what I was
Yeah.
asking is, do they plan on splitting this one in two, like they did Wicked?
Oh, nope.
For instance,
Nope.
like Wicked is one movie that was split into two parts. You know,
Nope.
what I'm saying?
They're gonna run it just the way it
They're
is.
just gonna
But
run it the way it is and just keep
yeah,
it all contained, different movies. All right,
different
cool.
movies.
You know, like I said, it works. It works for some instances, and I think it will work in the instance of the Michael Jackson film. I don't think that film would be done justice if it's not two parts, because they're not gonna chance putting out a 3.5 hour movie and expect everybody to go watch it. Maybe people will, maybe they won't, but they're not gonna take that chance. So splitting it in two, I think, was the right move. I think
Yeah,
that's the right
I do
move.
too.
Let
You
you
know, 'cause it's
digest the first part of his life, whatever you go up to in there, and then they're gonna bring the other one back probably a year later, and but like you said, if the first one does what people expected it to do, they're gonna run to the second one too. It's the same thing as Infinity War and Endgame. Infinity War and Endgame was presented as two separate films, but they were shot as one film.
One big
It was
film.
shot as
From
one big film.
what I heard is that this part is going to end around bad. The first
Right.
one is
I
going
get it.
to end around bad, and then the second one will come from bad to the end of
On
his life.
to his life.
Yeah.
Yep. End of his life. Yeah, that makes sense, because really around bad was when his life started to change, because that's when his skin started getting lighter, and that's when
After
he started
got
changing.
burned.
Yep.
And
After he got burned.
No, Wes. But go back to your. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this publicly, but you gave me a theory offline of what you thought.
No, I
with
mean,
this particular angle.
I just remember just researching, and I remember him saying, or someone saying, he started noticing the vitiligo during the making of Thriller.
So yeah.
And maybe even a little before that, and it was like around that time. Now, obviously, no one noticed that or whatever, and I don't know, just had a theory about the glove, because he was saying that the first time that and a lot of times people who have vitiligo say the first time you start seeing it is in your hands and maybe
then your
on
face.
some parts of your face. Yeah,
around your
And
eyes.
go back and with
around
that
your
being
eyes.
said,
Yep. With that being said, I was like, I wonder.
Maybe
And
that's
it's
why
just
he was
a
always
theory.
had the glove and the eyeglasses on all the time.
Yes. That's why he always had the glove, and then even performing with the glove. And of course, he's Michael Jackson, so it just became this fashion thing. But I don't fully believe that Michael Jackson just woke up and said, "You know what? I'm gonna put this glittery glove on my hand, and that's what's gonna just and everyone's gonna love it." I just don't think that he.
And it was a puffy glove. It wasn't like this fitted glove that you see all the whatchamacallit performers do now.
It's a white
The glove.
glove.
It ain't even this. Yeah, it ain't the same.
Glitter on it.
Yeah. Michael Jackson glove was kind of puffy, but you know what? But speaking about his vitiligo, it actually started back and Off the Wall. Look at his face on Off the Wall. You could tell. You could see the patches in the skin.
Yeah,
if you remember that.
It definitely started in that era, either the end of Off the Wall era, going into Thriller, whatever. He started noticing it. He was always able to cover it up with makeup, but and as you notice, Michael Jackson, it was probably also on other parts of his body. Michael Jackson, you didn't see any other parts of Michael Jackson's body until Keep It in the Closet, and that's when his whole arms and body was white.
Which is in black and white.
Exactly. Exactly. We all know what that was. He was trying to cover it up, and I get it. But funny story when you talk about the glove. Right? Yo, this how much I was feeding to be like Michael Jackson. Yo, me and my shout out to my man Dave. Me and my man Dave, we were both drummers. and we was like doing our Michael Jackson thing. Yo, we want to make the glove, so we decided we're gonna make our own gloves, right? So we went and bought some glitter, and then we went and stole gloves from my grandfather's. He was a usher. He was a deacon in church, in Baptist church. I don't know about any other churches, but in Baptist church,
Y'all
when you
stole his gloves? Do you know how sacred the
listen,
gloves are?
yeah,
Yeah,
in Baptist church, when you serve communion, you put on white gloves.
Gloves, right?
So my grandfather's white glove, communion gloves. Me and my boy, we took them and we brought the glitter, put some glue. We put the and then we was like, oh, we got to put you have to put it. We put it in the oven, and then when we took the shit out, it was so it was done so poorly. We put the damn thing on our hands and we couldn't bend our
Because
the
y'all
glove.
stiffened up. Y'all
Yeah, we
stiffened
stiffened
up
up.
the glue.
Yeah, we stiffened up the glue. So we tried to imitate Michael Jackson, and we can't even close our hands. It was just crazy.
Wow.
We was feeding,
that's a
bro.
damn shame. That's a damn shame.
We was feeding,
And you
man.
didn't even have to do that. You could
Yeah,
have put it on. All you have to do is lightly sprinkle the glue on or brush it on
I
and
didn't
then
know what we
sprinkle
did.
the glue on and it would have been good to go.
What happened was me and him, we used to do a little Michael Jackson routine, and everybody started liking it. Girls was liking it, so we was feeding. We didn't care what the hell we was doing. We didn't know what we was doing. We just wanted to go out
Y'all
there and
pop
celebrate Michael
locking. How
Jackson.
you pop
Yeah, we
locking with
popped up.
stiff hands? I'm trying to. How do you make that work? You pop
Yeah,
locking and you
you,
passing it. How you passing it with
yeah,
stiff hands and your fingers not even rolling? Come on,
yeah.
man.
No,
What are y'all doing?
Wow, I
it
don't know
turned.
what to
It
say.
quickly turned to the robot.
I know it did.
we had
God
to turn.
damn.
We had to do the robot after that. So anyway, funny story with that. But anyhow, to kind of bring this thing back and wrap it up. Um, hey man, I don't know who's gonna buy this thing, but it's not looking good for Paramount because Paramount's they already put in about 3 or 4 bids and they've been turned down by Warner Brothers. I don't know why, but Netflix do got the money. They got the money, and then they just went and got with this investment bank to put together a nice offer of what they're gonna do, and what they're offering to do is take a lot of Warner Brothers debt off their hands, and Warner Brothers might look at it and say, you know what, we'll do that, but we get to keep our television stuff, our CNNs, our this or that, and we could either sell that off to someone else or maybe rebrand it, whatever we got to do. But it might work out for them. But I think the loser here would be in this case the movie goers, the movie going experience. And I want to do. Speaking of that, I'm just gonna quick teaser for maybe the next show or not the show for that. I want to bring our friend Megan back on. She always does her. She comes on periodically when she does her shows. Tea and Popcorn is her show on thing. She had a very interesting topic that I want to at least address, not today, but maybe next show. She talked about the movie going, no, movie theater etiquette. She was like, the lack thereof there is now amongst moviegoers is a damn shame. And she brought a lot of great. I urge everybody to go over her show. Is called Tea and Popcorn. It's on YouTube here. People go check it out. She has a very good that whole topic about movie theater etiquette. Certain things like you know, obviously the basics, talking or being on the phone during the movie theater. A lot of people are doing that now because the new generation, everybody, and it's not just a new generation, but today's time, you're glued to your phone. Nobody wants to turn their phone off no more if you're in a movie theater. So that's one thing. She also talked about one of my experiences that I had was uh, just kids. When you bringing kids to an R-rated movie, or you bringing babies to a movie theater, get a damn babysitter. And if you can't get a
Exactly.
babysitter, guess what? It ain't.
You know what? I'm listen. One thing I'll say with that one, I'm guilty of that. But I had a good grandson, and
No,
my
no.
daughter was good. My daughter's first movie. No, wait, let me finish. My daughter's first movie. She was an infant, and her first movie was Demolition Man. My grandson's first movie, and that was at Valley Stream. And my grandson's first movie was Godzilla, the new Godzilla when he was born. I think he was only like 6 months old. Quiet through the whole movie, and
Well,
we enjoyed it.
then in your case, you're an exception to the rule because the whole point that she spoke to that is, and she didn't mention babies. That's my thing. I don't like when people bring babies to theaters, especially if they're crying, and then you don't want to leave the theater. You're trying to quiet the baby down. Get your ass out the theater. And so that's my opinion. So that's my experience. She didn't bring that up. She did talk about kids, but kids that are being unruly and they're running in the aisles and they're doing all types of craziness, even if it's in a kid movie. Like my
Yeah,
daughter,
their parents dropped them off to watch the movie.
That stuff, yeah.
And they in
their
another theater, or
parents.
they outside, or something like that.
Oh yeah, the parents dropped them off to watch the kid movie. They leave to go watch an adult movie, and the kids are acting crazy. I had to tell this one couple. I said, "Listen, I don't give a fuck about your mom. Let me tell you something. If you don't sit down so me and my kids can enjoy this movie, we didn't come here to hear you talk."
No. And then she's even talking about not just that, parents that are right there and letting their kids be unruly, run around and act crazy and making a bunch of noise, even if it's
White people.
it doesn't matter.
White people.
Even if it's a kids movie, you can't let these kids run all over the place and make all kinds of noise. That was another one. She also talked about people. This is a big irks me to death. People who put their mother effing dirty ass feet up on a seat in front of them.
And see,
I cannot, and don't have no shoes on top of that.
Yo, oh my God!
Oh yeah,
and they put it on the fucking, and they put it on the damn armrest where you got to put your drink. Oh my God!
Or even on the back of the headrest, where let's just say it's not a theater with recliners, and people got their feet up on the seat in front of them,
and pushing the seat forward and breaking the seat, basically.
I'm just saying, like, all of this stuff is movie theater etiquette. That's just knowing. She pointed out when the what's the big movie the real big movie that Warner Brothers had?
Tron.
No,
That was the last movie I saw.
No.
Tron.
Big movie that made a lot of money from that Warner Brothers did. It was a video game movie. What was that?
What's it call it? Roblox.
Oh yeah.
What was it? Roblox, but it was the other one.
The other game that's like Roblox. Minecraft. Right. Yeah, Minecraft. Right.
She showed several instances. For whatever reason, this was trending on the internet. There was people in the Minecraft movie destroying the theaters. They
do it in the movie.
Crazy. Yeah, because they do it in the movie, I guess. And they're destroying the theaters, popcorn, not just popcorn, literally liquid sodas, nachos with cheese and all sorts of stuff flying all over the place. And there was, on the internet, you had movie workers was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, yo, what is up with I can't stand working when, with this movie in the theaters because these people are trashing theaters. And
that's why people go to work. When people go to work at movie theaters now, they go to work at low foot traffic movie theaters. Why? Low foot traffic movie theaters, you ain't got to do a whole lot of work. When I leave Lynbrook at night, when I leave Lynbrook at night, they have to. They don't even clean the movie theater at the end of the night. The early morning crew when they come in, they
Oh
come
hell
in and
no.
they
Nah, you gotta
He
clean that
said,
shit
"Oh
at night.
hell."
Nah,
yeah,
nah,
I,
you gotta
Ralph,
clean
I
that shit at
swear to
night.
God,
That's what I'm.
Ralph, that movie theater be so clean at night. They don't have to they
Oh,
don't have
if it's
to
clean at night,
Oh,
then
it's already
sorry,
clean.
but yeah, if it's dirty as
Yeah.
hell and you walking out, nah, bro, you got to clean it. That's how the rats come.
Oh, you know what?
Yep, that's true.
That's
when
how the
they
rats
come through.
come.
That's how
Oh
the
shit,
rats
you
come through.
yeah.
You don't want that.
Shit.
So
You saw
anyway,
Charlotte's. You saw Charlotte's Web when Homeboy was at the state fair. He said, "Oh my god!" And he went around. He was having a buffet at the fair. You know?
no, I know exactly. So no, but anyway, I definitely I'd like to get her on so she can talk about that because that was a very cool. I'm gonna put the link for people who might be interested. I'm gonna put the link to her video here in the chat room. So people and I'll also swing back around and put it in the comment section so people were interested in seeing that and it was a very good very well thought out, very well put together video, and she went into a lot of different, examples and had receipts for it. So shout out to Megan over at Tea and Popcorn, and hopefully we can get her back on so she can get, because she can explain it better than I can. But I just added my movie going experience of, hey, I don't like when and then on top of that, weirdos. Don't be weird. Remember I told you my first Sinners movie experience. I talked about it. It was very weird. It was ruined because of a weirdo next to me, always moving and freaking fidgeting, and he looked like he basically snuck in the theater. Probably he probably snuck into the. He tried to slide in. He just came out of nowhere. Had to come in next to me of all places. And I'm just like, oh my God. I knew it. The one day I don't buy the 2 tickets, the one day I don't buy the seat next to me, this guy comes sliding in, gets to the seat. He's moving and shaking. I had to literally, tell him, bro, you good? Like, what's going on? Like you making a lot of like distractions right now. So, yeah, don't be weird, man. Don't go to
Wait. Did you pull the move like in you Get Rich or Die Trying? He said you keep fidgeting back there, man. And he said, "Oh, let me talk to him." He's like, "I'm gonna shoot him." I might have been right, but I could be wrong. But I know it was right, so that mean even though I was wrong, that mean I was right. Like what?
No, you're right. I'm telling you, like I don't even normally do stuff like that because I'm not I'm not, I'm not a big confrontational guy. I say what's on my mind, but but I just had to because he was just it was just too weird, man. Like fidgeting and shaking his leg. I'm like, bro, you shaking this whole row. Like, what's going on? Like, you good? You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, I'm good. Like, bro, like, what? Come on. Like, people here to watch the movie, bro, and people who come in who don't have
good money. Spending
good
money to see a movie.
Have some freaking movie theater etiquette, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, if there's exceptions to the rule, like what Kev said, if you come in and you got a baby and I don't hear that baby, I don't care. I'm not in your business saying why is he bringing or why is she bringing a baby to a movie. I ain't in your business. If I don't hear that baby, I don't care.
And also because we bring headphones, because the other thing people forget about is sensory what do they call it, deprivation or whatever they call it. It fucks with the baby, and they're like, wait a minute, what's going on? It's all these new sounds, and they're loud sounds. So you bring headphones for your baby, and you bring them during bedtime, where they're gonna sleep, where they had an active day. You got to know how to do this, man. When you're dealing with kids in movies.
If they're bringing a kid to the movie, they probably not thinking about that. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
so,
if you're a good parent, you are.
Right. So when you got the kid crying, so the kid starts to cry because babies cry. That's what they do. They can't talk.
No sugar before the movie. A huge reason why babies are active because they're wound up on sugar. You give them fruity, you give them Fruit Loops and all other kind of stuff. They're like, okay, hon, let's go check out a movie. No, the fuck you don't come in here with your crazy baby. They don't know how to be quiet.
Babies
Exactly. Take your
crying,
ass
and
outside.
I
Take your
specifically
ass
remember
outside.
a girl was there, a couple was there with the baby. The woman was trying to feed the baby. I think she even was breastfeeding the baby in the damn theater. She was trying to feed the baby, keep the baby quiet. The baby was still crying for whatever reason, and it was destroying the movie. And it was just like, come on, man. And she refused to get up and walk out. It's like, yo, listen, this is, in my opinion, this is the.
But this is
I
what you
handle.
call the usher.
This is what. Well, I know
They
that.
You call Usher, please.
Yeah,
That
listen,
nigga's
I
making
call no,
655.
Ralph.
He's making
No, let me tell
655.
you something, Ralph. Ralph, let me tell you something. Hold up, Ralph. Let me tell you something. I caught grown ass people sitting in my seat, and I had a handful of popcorn and stuff, so I couldn't squab. So I said, you know what? I got you. You don't want to move? No problem. I went and got the usher. Don't nobody fuck with the usher. Because why? If you get kicked out of that movie theater, they're never allowing you back in. So people get their ass up and they go leave when they theater hop. You know what I'm saying? If you
No,
don't know
no.
how to do it, don't do it. But you
Yeah.
know, with that other movie caveat that you talked about earlier, that I had a problem that I encountered was a parent that didn't want me talking to their kids, and I told the old man, "Get your ass up and come outside and let me handle you." Because you know what? Keep your kids quiet. I did not pay to come here to hear your kids talk through the whole movie. And you know what another parent in this said? Don't make me join them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't make me join them.
Don't make me join him.
No, no, it's the truth because and that's what's the point of her whole thing. That movie theater etiquette. It's actually entitled "The Death of Movie Theater Etiquette." You know what I'm saying? Because it pretty much is gone, man. If you're destroying a movie theater because of a movie, that's just ridiculous. Every person in that damn theater should be flagged and never let in that theater again.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'd be like, listen, if you in here enduring this nonsense, first of all, if I was in there, they would have been jumping me because I'd have been like, what the hell is wrong with all you idiots? And I'd be like, so I definitely would have walked out because I'd have been like, I can't deal with this. I mean, it's just crazy. But anyway, we'll get Megan on. We'll talk about it, and should be fun to do. We'll thank our guest Tony Perez who came on, of course, and we'll get back to y'all next week. And I'm hoping I can get Megan on next week. That would be great because I really enjoyed that. The only last thing I'll say is going out the door. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions happened. Outkast got inducted. Congratulations to them, of course. Salt and Pepper, the legendary Salt and Pepper, got
Was Spindy
inducted
there?
as well. Yes,
Was Spindy
Spinderella
there?
was there.
All
Yes,
right,
she was.
that's what's up.
And as she should have.
She should have. Should have.
Yeah. Yeah, and they performed and everything, which was cool to see them perform again together. Brought out In Vogue, did What a Man did. They did a medley of their hits. I guess what's funny. Andre 3000 is truly retired from rapping, which he said he was doing. He did not perform. Big Boy performed with other artists, but
He could have got
Three
his ass up
Stacks
there.
did not. Three Stacks did not perform, which
Get
was
your
interesting.
ass up there.
No, he didn't do it. And he had a very touching speech though, where he talked about how, great things happen and great things start in little rooms, and he was saying about that. He actually got choked up, was getting ready to cry when he talked about how they started in a little room, and literally the dungeon, right? And Cyndi Lauper had a great, she was inducted amongst a lot of people, but those are the ones that stood out for me. Sly Stone in the beginning, they inducted him. It was pretty good. It was good. And Ralph, you mentioned shout out to Sinners for the how many nominations they ended up getting?
Six. They got six
Grammy
nominations. That
so
is
now
impressive.
we got to figure out the best day to do, because we got to do our it's still too early to do the Oscar predictions. I do want to do a prediction show to see how, and maybe even put a little stake in it and see how right we are with our predictions based on what we know, based on research, based on what we saw, and based on what we think should be in there, because there's going to be some snubs, and that's just the way the Oscars work. So
always is.
We'll do a prediction show.
Damn, Ralph, those sound so disappointed already. He's like, always is.
Always is. You want to know something funny? I came from a party Saturday night, early Sunday morning, right? I'm driving home. I was talking to a friend of mine, and for some reason we were talking about movies, and I mentioned the movie Hustlers. And I said that, on the show that I do, I actually said that I felt Jennifer Lopez was honestly robbed of an Oscar nomination for Hustlers.
Mm-hmm. Say that again, please.
And she said, "Why?" I said because I don't think Hustlers, because she not saying that she should have won, but she should have got a best.
She should have got the chance.
Nomination.
She should have
got a best actress nomination. Yeah.
And I said that. I think that without Jennifer Lopez playing, while the Ramona could have been in the movie, if Jennifer Lopez didn't play her, I don't think Hustlers would have been nearly as good as it was.
But it gave the balance of what real strippers go through. You got the top old chick that's in the club that they can't quit because now she's been so vested into stripping, she can't leave. And she done built up a clientele base. It is kind of sort of that part.
I mean, I agree, but even with, I agree, her performance definitely, she could have got at least the nomination. Not that whether she would have won or not is irrelevant. She should have got.
But I think she was actually robbed. And then I was saying,
I felt the same way about Jake Gyllenhaal with Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler.
Yeah, he was robbed.
Yeah.
He was robbed.
He didn't even get an Oscar nomination, and that was crazy.
But then she said, well, Ralph, could anybody else have played that role? And I said, honestly, no. I said the only person that might have been able to play it is maybe Rihanna. I might have seen Rihanna doing that.
But how Rihanna's still too young to play, even though she in real life she's dealing with real life adult stuff. She's still, I don't know, in my opinion, too young to be an old person or even a mid.
No. It didn't matter that she was old. It is that because you have strippers. I mean, I know strippers have been stripping since 16 years old, and they're 25, 26. I mean, they're a veteran. It's just that you have to give the persona that you. And I said the only other person that I would have seen in there is that was young Janet Jackson. If that was Janet Jackson from Poetic Justice era, I could see her up there. So she said, "Well, what about Cardi B?" I was like, "No, I would not. I would not."
She was already Cardi B was in the movie, but she was in as a background.
I would not have put her in that role of Ramona. Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, none of them.
No, I mean, like I said, it also required a certain level of acting too. It wasn't just
exactly, which they don't have, and they don't have it.
Right. It was just because of the stripper movie, it had a story. It had a real story. Yeah, about it.
And Nicki Minaj would have gave it too much attitude. Cardi B really gave it.
They're not actors like that. I mean, Nicki has acted before, but they're not actors like that. So
that's what I mean.
Yeah. I'd rather, if anything else, I'd pull Cardi on as a consultant.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, the only other person that I probably could see that definitely would have the background is young Eve when she was with Rough Riders.
Yeah,
that girl could have did it. She could have did it.
She could have did it. So that's cool. But we'll address all of that also going on.
And check out Frankenstein, please.
Y'all check out.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that.
Check out things, and we'll catch y'all next week, man. And we appreciate y'all for sticking and hanging in with us, man. It's the Jedi Council. It's the director. Of course, you can love us, you can hate us, but don't forget about us. You guys have a great rest of the week.
Don't you forget about me.